Dakota, Reva, South Dakota. His name is Vaughn Meyer. He's a third-generation beef producer from northwest South Dakota. He raises purebred Angus and red Angus with his wife, Lois. He also does some dryland farming that he uses for his own cow-calf operation. He grew up on a ranch his grandfather had homesteaded in 1909. He attended the South Dakota State University with a BS, received a BS in animal science. He was a second lieutenant in Army Medical Corps. He's a member of the South Dakota Stock Growers, RCAF USA, U.S. Cattlemens Association. He's currently a member of the Masonic member of the Past Lodge 214 of the West River Shiners Club. And he's also a director of the American Angus Association, the Black Hills Angus Association, director of the South Dakota Beef Industry Council, and the South Dakota Farmers Union. On the South Dakota Beef Council, he served as treasurer and chairman of the South Dakota State University Research Committee. They run their ranch with their 2 married daughters and their families who all live on the ranch at the Sodak Angus Ranch. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Vaughn Meyer from South Dakota.
Thank you, everybody. It's truly my pleasure to be here today amongst fellow producers like you. Your organization could be the mirror image of our South Dakota stock growers. Sorry, maybe I wasn't holding that so you can hear me. It's good to be amongst people who truly care about the family heritage in our country here. And before I go on, I would also like to thank you for your hospitality. I'd thank the Bledsoe family for their wonderful tour and refreshments and everything yesterday. That was truly a learning experience, and as I say, I'll probably come away with this with more knowledge than you'll gain from me. So I will try to hurry through this. I know we're running out of time here today. I talked to Gerald. I said, I'm not a public speaker, and what do you want me to talk about? And he said, well, anything for 20 minutes, I guess, on there. Not sure I can even fill that up, but anyway, he said, well, tell us about Carl Wilkins. And I don't know if many of you have read what I wrote about Carl Wilkins, so I'll get on to that. I decided maybe in conjunction with that, I'll talk to you about energy, natural resources, and economic development. You probably all think that I should be in another room somewhere addressing oil people or mining or something like that, but truly you are all the people in here that are the primary providers of energy in here. All those people I mentioned earlier, before they go to work in the morning, they get nourished and energied up from you guys, what you produce. At the end of the day, your energy is what does them. You are the backbone of America. Natural resources, you do all this with natural resources. And they're not only natural, they are replaceable. And that's something that a lot of other industries can't say on that. And then later on, I would demonstrate to you where the economic development comes in here, because you are the backbone of America. America and our economy, which is in dire straits right now, is dependent upon you. And in the way we have been used as farmers and ranchers over the past 100 years is the reason that our economy is in the shape we are. Now let me get on to Charles Walters. Charles Walters is an economist, and he wrote 2 books. One is called Unforgiven. He's got 3 or 4 books, but 2 that I really appreciate. One is Unforgiven, and if you get a chance, and if you haven't read it, I would ask that each one of you look over that book. It's good reading. It'll take you several years because you'll read it 2 or 3 times. And when you get done with it, send it to your congressman. I don't think many of them in Washington, D.C. understand it or have been there either. He's got another one that's called Natural, I'll get to it here yet. Natural resource economics is what it is, and it's everything that's taken from our earth in its natural state. His book, Unforgiven, is wrote about Carl Wilkins, and Carl Wilkins was an economist who grew up through the 30s, actually the 20s. He saw all the Depression. He saw World War II. He started getting in his degree and stuff, and started advising members of Congress for various committees in Congress on farm economics and agriculture, and throughout the 50s and the 60s. And his principles are principles that we could still use today if we would get back to ever wanting to reduce this deficit and putting America in first place again. Mr. Carl Walters wrote this book through a series of interviews with Carl Wilkins, and then he published it after Wilkins' death. And so he uses Wilkins' theories. And excuse me for reading this, but it'll speed things up here a little. Mr. Wilkins theorizes several thought-provoking principles, of which the first and foremost is that income can only be created through industries, private and corporate, which extract their raw materials from the land. And that is his second point. These industries, including agriculture, mining, and petroleum, and under agriculture he also lists forestry, is exclusive renewable resources. So that we are the renewable resources. Any other income creation is unearned income, such as credit established both private and government, which becomes a tax on society due to interest charged. Number 3, using Wilkins' principles, an economy is balanced when agriculture products receive 100% parity, as all laborers throughout the economy ideally will receive 100% compensation for their endeavors. So if we are receiving 100% as our money transfers, that's the old saying, give a farmer $1 and he'll spend 2. And we do. This balanced economy is due to the multiplier of 7, which most of us have heard in this room, which relates to the number of times agricultural wealth is recreated as it is spent throughout the society for goods and services. However, this is a point that I had never really thought of. When parity for raw materials falls below 100%, then all stages of that economy suffer by that same multiplier of 7. For every dollar of farm income lost, the national income loses $7, thereby forcing labor to seek unearned income credit. And that's that unearned income again. This credit is like loan. There's thousands of ways that credit is, but the most common ones are loans, welfare, subsidies, unemployment, and reduced savings. That's when we as individuals go into our savings, which are all part of the national net worth, and we start lowering our own savings and using them up for other things. So if you look at these principles on there, we are the backbone, and you are the backbone. And not only just to feed this world, you are the backbone of the economy, of financing our country and keeping it solvent. I know that sounds like a big load in there, but we've been there for years. Why is this not working? Well, if you go back and take a look, excuse me, I'll find my notes here. The parity from 1921 for farm products has ranged from 35% to 94%. We have never hit 100%. And last time I looked, from 1962 to 2002, the average parity rate was 68%. That means we were 32% below parity. That meant that that 32% times 7 is what our national economy is suffering, because we are suffering. Agriculture was the last resort as far as balancing trade deficits. Since 1976, we've been in negative. We have imported more than we have exported. We were the last stronghold. And you know, we're going like other industries. Other industries are shipping everything out to foreigners, and then they're coming back in there. A couple of quick things also in there I'll throw out is the farm to retail spread. We can't price our product. We're losing our share in there. In 1970, our farm to retail spread was 98 cents. Farmers received 38 cents or 39%. Wholesalers received 60 cents or 61%.